He's getting there.
We're wondering whether or not he didn't make
And it's 4:51 there, and his plane's at 7. He might want to pick his pace up.
International flight, yeah, he's got. It's not. He's not flying out of ABE to Des Moines. He's got.
Yeah.
We have starting Zoom screen. Let's go back over here. Chat up. Get rid of the logo. Rockfin logo. Patreon logo. Ready, boys? Ready as I'll ever be. All right. There's a fridge back there. I mean, it's not like this is like not super formal. So there's lining kugels and some lighter beverages. Okay, bottom drawer. There's also bottom drawer is fizzy water and then Sunkist.
So what do you from
6 turns. 6 turns. When you out of here, right to 29, right, left to the dome, right to the turf. No, left to the turf, right to the dome. Yeah. I don't need a Jeep. My nephew lives there now, too. In the Speakeasy, holy goodness, we've got Josh and Corby from MatScouts. One guy you see on screen all the time. The other one, when he presses the button to be on screen, you get to see him. But Josh Conklin, Corby Vandeventer, welcome to my humble abode where you've always known where the weather is, but you've never actually felt the weather.
Haven't. No. Finally pulled up, and it's funny, we were driving and we saw the new Brighton sign on the highway. I said, Josh, 82
there it is.
degrees.
82 degrees every day at 9:30. Every day at 9:30. So trying this out again. We're working it here on Rockfin. Mm-hmm. And if you're watching out on Twitter, we got the chat open. So if you've got something to say, I'm going to bring it up here and try to be as, there we go. We've got it working. Oh, I might want to hit go live on the Rockfin side of things. So, but that's good to go. But that's why we have Arca. I mean, when Jason Fulmore was in here the other day, we had the Echo working on it. And from the tech side to try to get things lined up, it's like, all right, well, I just spent 2 hours redoing that. But again, this is the actual intent of the Speakeasy. Bring friends in, talk wrestling. It's a little early. You guys have been on the road, and you still got 3 more hours, so no beverages for you gentlemen just yet. But but we're here. Yep. We're ready for Fargo 2021, the 50th Junior National Championships. We've got, and I've actually had to get into the calling it the Junior Men's Championships because now we're 19 years of Junior Women's Championships freestyle. So,
50 years since Iowa City, right?
Yeah, Iowa 71. City. Sandy Stevens announced that tournament.
She's announcing this week.
And she's announcing this week, yes. So, yep. Yeah, I think
I hope they announce that. I hope they say that 50 years.
Well, she's going to say, she will say it, and she'll be like, she'll probably say, so 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. Wow. But she'll say she started when she was 4. So that's kind of how, that's her move there.
Hopefully she'll say, I've been here 50 years and don't climb over that railing.
Do not, under any circumstances, consider yourself an exception or climb over that railing. So we're going to do a bingo card, too. We're going to do a Fargo bingo card, and I'm going to do one for you guys before you leave, the I-94 bingo card. So if anybody's watching this and is driving through Fargo, or on the way to Fargo through here, you're going to see Chris Lundahl's guaranteed offer. His arms are going to be outstretched at least 25 times between here and St. Cloud. Sometimes you'll see him on back-to-back billboards. And then you'll see a sign for Taco Gringo on the way to St. Cloud. That's a great little spot. And then you'll see, I don't know, you'll chuckle and giggle like a schoolgirl when you see Pleasureland off the side of the road. It's camping equipment, guys. It's RVs, okay? It's not quite. Felters might like it. So I mean, because they're RVing it up. But
he's RVing it. Actually, you know what? He hit me up. He's a character, man. He's going fishing in the morning. out of Detroit Lakes with the Chittams. They got a guide. They're going to do.
Imagine the Chittams doing some fishing.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
something new and different for those guys, right?
Exactly. So yeah, they're gonna go out tomorrow morning in Detroit Lakes, catch some fish, and then head back to Fargo. So I can't wait. This is for me. I don't know why. I'm really excited for this Fargo. I think it's the field. Always excited for Fargo, but the field this year, really deep. A lot of seniors are coming that,
Well, they get that shot because it used to be, I remember when there used to be a discussion about the A6 All-American team, and I remember it was a big controversy when Jesse Jansen was A6 Wrestler of the Year, but had never won a junior title.
Correct.
Then he goes out there, wins the junior title, checks that off the list. It was like, we can't have an A6 Wrestler that's never won juniors. I mean, it was that thing. And then I guess what it was probably 2005-ish to where I think the internet really had a lot to do with this. The commitments were coming early. And a lot of the seniors are like, okay, I go. They win their title as a cadet. They go as a junior once, and then either they're enrolling early or they're concentrating on, say, a junior world team or something. That's also impacted things where like Willie's not going to be in Fargo because he's at a cadet world championship. So,
Correct.
I mean, one year we had I know a kid that Justin Laval from here in Minnesota ended up going to ODU and then North Dakota State. He won a title, but he could never beat Jimmy Chase in the Greco because Jimmy was at the Junior Worlds.
Yeah.
So opportunities exist to get the stop sign, but I would love to see those graduated seniors come back. And now we lost a season. We're going to see some of that, and hopefully that kicks that trend back up because we saw guys. I remember Dylan Wisman from Virginia when he went trained in Missouri and then said, "All right, I'm going to Fargo."
Yep.
And he was so much better from just going to Missouri for summer school and then training with them, and then guess what? I'm going to go wrestle some college kids. Him and Owen Webster had that brawl one year.
That?
I think that was
182.
Yeah, that was what was that still vertical pairing?
I believe it was.
Yeah, because it was a
last
pool.
year of vertical pairing, if I remember. I
Yeah,
think.
it was. Yeah, that was a battle. I mean, you talk about two guys that scrapped back then. I remember that. So a little Virginia love there.
Yeah,
but,
actually, another one too is Buddy that used to scrap, had some injuries in college. Corbin Allen.
Yeah.
Right? Corbin was a hammer. Placed at everything growing up.
Hanover Hawks, Virginia style.
Yeah. Talk about, Mr. Wisman and Mr. Allen, characters.
That's
great people, man.
I didn't know
Love those
Mr. Wisman,
guys.
but I
Love
spent a lot of time with Larry
Great
on some of
people.
these trips, so we
Great
see him all the
people.
time. But yeah, and that's that Central Virginia stuff. And Corbin was actually one of the guys that really kind of stood up for the other wrestlers back in Virginia with the whole the medal podium debacle
I
and
remember that.
and all that stuff. Turned his medal around and just So those kids, we remember those. That's one thing I love about Fargo too, because what's going to happen, folks, is this conversation or a conversation like it is going to happen 100 times a day for 8 days. That's how it is. That's the best part about Fargo. You're gonna sit there and you're gonna reminisce about. I've got a couple stories that I like to tell every year. One of which usually involves this mug here that turns 23 this year.
Yep.
It'll be its 22nd year. It's older than every junior in the tournament and older than almost every table worker.
Well, good thing
It's
Russians don't come because I bet they'd have somebody older than that.
It's only a year younger than me.
Well, I mean, I bought that in 1999. Was I 21?
Oops.
Yeah, let's. I may have lived in Alabama at the time, according to my. Anyway, that word statute of limitations on my bad ID is gone. But we're gonna have this. This is where I joke that I've met everybody in wrestling in Fargo. I mean, Silver Strike bowling and Dirty Martinis with Jeff Blatnick at the Turf, beating Kendall Cross in foosball and Greg Jones in darts, and karaoke with Brian Keck and Nick Simmons and at some really bad place called, I don't even know if it's still open. I won't even give it any credit because that's a place that's one of those places where you don't, if you have to go to number 2, you don't go. I will say the Turf's like that. Your Turf's like that as well, but I will mention them because I've donated a lot of beverages and things over the years. But this is the camaraderie that I love about Fargo. It's not necessarily always about the wrestling. It's like it's a big reunion for 8 days. It's like NCAA's, you only get a couple hours. If you're going the long haul for Fargo, at least 5 days, you're catching up with everybody. You're seeing coaches. You're doing some things that you're going to talk about 20 years from then, and you're going to watch some things that are going to happen 20 years from then. So that's what I'm geeked out about.
Me too. It's going to be exciting. Like you said, it's you bump into people that you may only see once or twice a year sometimes, and you see them in Fargo, and it's going to be great. Can't wait. We're going to arrive in tonight. We're going to do this with you. We're going to do some burgers, and then we'll wait for traffic to die down. And then...
Yeah, it's not traffic that's terrible. It's the construction, because once from here to St. Cloud, here to probably Albertville, where the McKees are from, that's where it's always under construction. So if you've ever driven down I-64 in Hampton, Virginia, it's been under construction for 40 years because, yeah.
I mean,
I used to
our
do
drive out here, we hit about 7 different spots of construction. At least every state has at least 4 different spots they want to do construction on.
Yeah.
Fargo's still under construction. I remember one year I had the mayor on the show, and it's like, no construction, and always that cut through is always road closed. There's orange cones everywhere. 29 was under construction for probably a good decade.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's one of those places where you go enough times you don't need a GPS to get around.
No.
You know, Earl, we're still breaking in Earl.
We are.
You know, it's like, hey, yeah, go to Lucky Turd. Can I walk there? Yes, it's across the parking lot.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
across the parking lot.
It is my first time.
This is your first one.
Yeah, Josh, a rookie.
Yeah.
24 years old,
Yeah.
rookie.
All
Never
right.
been.
Well,
We're breaking him in.
okay.
I was attempting to get on the New York bus like 3 years ago. That's as close as I've been.
So he's a rookie.
I've busted a couple times, and first year wasn't bad. Actually, I think I'd busted one time with Team Virginia. Had the sleeper buses. And I remember one point, it was this old Great Bridge heavyweight, Matt Richardson. He was a freshman. He's sitting there reading his book. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're at a truck stop in Indiana, and they had a satellite on the bus. And I flip around, and Aqua Teen Hunger Force comes on. And I'm like, yes! And this is a 14-year-old freshman looking at me reading his book going, this is stupid. And I'm like, shut up. This is funny. So Aqua Teen, I won a Connect 4 bracket that year. I even drew it out on Kreider PC software tournaments. Like it's on Matt Talk somewhere at the old archives. But yeah, so again, those memories. And then I've driven it twice from Virginia, once from Pennsylvania, 2 or 3 times in Colorado. But now
You're right here.
200 miles, straight shot. So you guys have got it made. This is you got the hard part out of the way.
Yeah, we're home now. We stopped in Schaumburg. So we left about 4 in the morning, about 11 hours to Chicago or Schaumburg area. We stayed there last night. We stopped down. He's never had a Chicago beef sandwich, so I took him to Portillo's.
Okay.
Took him to Portillo's because
I was going to say you could have gone with Mr. Beef or something like that.
Well, we were in Schaumburg, so when we had a back through, I'm going to take him to Mr. Beef or Johnny's or Al's.
What about Super Dog?
Super Dog's good. So we're gonna on the way home. Him and I are gonna spend a few days in Chicago. We're hitting a White Sox game and we're hitting a Cubs game.
Okay.
So we're gonna leave Wednesday morning when freestyle juniors are done and head back into Chicago. We're gonna actually leave here early in the morning. We're gonna catch a Wednesday night Sox game. So we're gonna drive from Fargo to Chicago. Probably leave at 7 in the morning. Get to Chicago around 4. Get right to the field and watch BP. And then Thursday we'll just do a day of, running around Chicago. He's never been there. So and then Friday we're gonna catch a 120 Cubs game, right?
Yeah.
And my stepdad works in the Marriott, so I got us I don't know what the name of the hotel. I think it's called the Rachel, it's some autograph collection Marriott right outside home plate of Wrigley Field, right next to Cubby Bear.
The type of spot that we should never ever be
Never.
allowed into.
Hotel Zachary is it, and I got it for under $100, and it was $600 a night. But with the Marriott, so we're staying there right.
Has
out.
anybody ever paid the
no
sticker
idea.
price for the back of the door?
Right,
That always says
right.
$247 a night. This is a Motel 6 in North Austin. No, okay, giving myself away there on that one too because that was a bad trip years ago. Now, one thing, are you guys staying the whole time? The whole trek, or are you cutting trip off in Fargo?
We're leaving Wednesday.
Okay.
So we'll be in Fargo for 5 nights, and then after junior freestyle Wednesday morning, we're heading back. Earl's staying.
Right.
Earl will be here through the long haul. He's here the whole time.
Yeah, I'm dipping out Wednesday after women's finals.
Okay.
Because it's just pack up and go, and
Yes.
then I got 4 days before I get on a plane to Tokyo. So
Yeah,
I got Olympic prep still to do. I just finished the 51 articles on the Fargo Legacy. So on Rockfin and on Patreon. So if you are a contributor to Patreon or a Rockfin subscriber, 51. Nick Veliquette just put out a blast with your and Willie's previews.
Yep.
My Almanac, FargoAlmanac.com. That's an add-on. Buy once. I think I got a printed out version around here somewhere, but just for you to geek out over. I'll print a couple for those in the press. But that's 5 days. Well, with kids now, I got a 5-year-old, a 9-year-old, and going to the Olympics. I can't go the whole 8 days like I used to.
I get it.
But what's funny is you talk about the baseball games. In 2002, I'd mapped it out to go Cleveland, Chicago, Milwaukee, Minnesota, 4 straight days, and it was a week after the All-Star game that was a tie at Miller Park. Well, get a late start. Okay, I missed Cleveland. Nah, no biggie. It's kind of out of the way anyway, coming from Virginia. Well, Chicago, you got to be aware of the schedule. Driving down Addison, people are pouring out of the stadium. ESPN moved the game from the night game on a Sunday night to 2 o'clock.
Oh.
So I'm thinking I'm going to get there, see batting practice, see Wrigley. Nope, didn't happen. So I'm like, well,
Milwaukee.
drove to Milwaukee, ended up doing a karaoke in Brookfield, Wisconsin, just outside of actually, I almost went to college in Waukesha at Carroll College.
Carroll, yeah.
Kings in Bristol. Not Kings, which is another one. But Carroll College, great broadcasting school. I actually dropped wrestling, I think, in 98. But I was right there. I was thinking about going to school, and I'm at Fridays at a Motel 6. It's like when you're cheap on a college budget, you're looking at $59.99 a night. You're like, yeah.
I'm in there.
And woke up the next day, brewery tours for Miller. That's where I discovered Leinenkugels, and did batting practice, ate at the front row Fridays.
Yep.
That was right there,
Right
ate there. And then my first major league game was Reds and Brewers a week after the All-Star game. That was the tie. And then the next day drove in to the Metrodome, because it was a noon game.
Yeah.
And into the Dome, Angels Twins, it was your Milton and Washburn. It was the rematch of the ALCS.
Yep.
Well, it would be the ALCS. And as an Angels fan, that was just like geeking out, much as I hated the Metrodome. I'm not from here originally, so... But I mean, it has its charm, but it doesn't. I mean, me and my wife went to a couple games before they built Target Field, and so yeah, it was kind of seeing the baseball games. If the calendars accelerated a little bit this year, so sometimes you can, if you're driving, you can line it up really well and see games all through the Midwest, or if you're coming up through Kansas City or St. Louis. But not this year because the All-Star game was earlier this week.
Yep,
I mean, that's what we're looking at too. We're like, oh, are the Pirates playing on Saturday?
Yeah,
that's
great.
On Friday, it's because Pirates playing on Saturday. Yeah.
So we're gonna make a trip out of it. It should be, like I said, Josh never seen Chicago before, so it's
never
cool city.
driven west of Akron, Ohio.
Yeah.
So you are technically sitting the furthest west you've ever been in the United States.
Driving. Yeah.
Driving. Okay.
Me and Willie went out to Nebraska and Iowa back in January.
Okay. So.
Yep. You're putting on
seeing America.
Yeah, and if you're rooming with Willie, you understand the length of time he spends on the throne.
Playing these games, right?
With the door open.
Yep, with the door open.
And the skull straight in.
Yep, and I always tell him, I'm like, man, if you want to just sit there and play games, then shut the lid and sit on it. But sitting there,
he can't defend himself right now because he's trying to get to New York.
Yeah, you're gonna get a hemorrhoid. You can't sit there for 2 hours.
So
he's a character.
Real story. We're gonna throw Willie under the bus here for a minute. So I want to say 2000. What year was I with? Last year with USA Wrestling. So 2012. We had just started all the streaming. So my first year with USA Wrestling, we went from live sports video, which you remember, good people, never worked.
Never worked.
1 out of 4, I think, was our success. Mike Raitt was a great guy, and the folks that were there were great wrestling people. But the technology was, Windows Movie Maker was kind of a media encoder, I think it was. So the first year I'm there, it's like, we're going to Ustream. We're going to try to get we got one stream up, and it was nobody had ever done anything other than the finals before. Then we had this TriCaster that was given to us by New Tech. It was older, but it worked. I'm like, okay, we've got graphics. We figured it out. And then, okay, we did all the medal matches. I think we did Mat 1 the entire time. And then we put most of those round robin matches on Mat 1. The next year we got some new computers. So year 2 of my tenure, we went 8 mats were wired. Well, actually, 12 mats were wired. We could only go 4 at a time because the older computers wouldn't work. But I was moving them to the first time we'd ever done the medal matches. So I'm like, between sessions, unplugging, moving a camera and computer over to another mat. And then the next year, I wired 18 mats myself, the length crimped, and we streamed 18. And then that was, Adam Fenn had gotten involved then, and Wrestling Video Solutions, and then what you see now is Flow. But the live portal then, and that was like year 3. And Willie, that first year, we were doing kind of like, he was with the open mat and doing the audio commentary, and he didn't know where he was going to stay. I think he was going to stay with Brooks Black's parents or something like that. And I was like, dude, we've got a suite, or it's like an apartment-ish dorm. And so I asked everybody in the suite, hey, can Willie crash on the couch? Like, sure. About a day into it, Willie's working on his cadet freestyle preview, and it just door open. I think he was Skyping Snyder.
Yeah,
So that's so and then one year he's with the Flow boys in the dorm, and he goes, "Hey JB, come over here." I think I was one door over. Mary's door open, and all the guys. I think Nick Velikat was just shaking his head, just like, really. I think Holmes has known him forever, so it was like, what, really? So yes, that's our Willie story if he ever gets on the plane. So
hopefully he does. I saw he just tweeted out something. He he jumped a turnstile in the subway in New York City just for the thrill of it.
He's watched. He
Hopefully-
must have seen Coming to America recently because that's the or what's that one movie where like the subway attendant's like pay your fare, pay your fare.
Pay your fare.
I don't know which one it is, but yeah.
Yeah, no, he I hope he'll make it because he's got some time now. He's going to get on the plane for sure. I was worried about him a little bit because he had to travel. You know, he was taking a bus to like Port Authority and then trying to subway to JFK. So I was like, eh. So he had plenty of time to do it. So hopefully he'll be all right.
Joe Caprino in the chat. Nice shirt, Corby.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Camera's that way.
I'm used to.
See, you're used to looking straight ahead with a guy next to you.
Straight ahead. Yep, there it is. Yeah, thanks, Joe.
And the quoter also, he jumps in saying
Quoter.
The quoter. He's in the Discord right now. He's in the Matt Talk Online Discord # Speakeasy Live where you can jump in, or Facebook.
You know,
was it Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch?
Yeah, I got out of there. I just after that, the whole
It was a very strange time in our lives.
It was, right? So, I don't know. I just felt, that
you've also never really been a social media guy anyway,
no,
right?
never really been a social media guy. And, just when, things happen and I just felt that if I left, maybe people would enjoy themselves more. I just didn't want to feel that people couldn't say what they wanted to say because I was there, or whatever. So, no hard feelings, anybody in the Discord or to you. Actually, I reached out to Earl and told Earl to let you know why.
Yeah,
I just didn't want you guys to think, oh, why the hell did he leave? No business. I just didn't want people to not feel like they can't say what they want to say.
Well, and part of it too, and in case you're wondering what we're talking about, so MatTalkOnline.com/Discord is a private. It's semi-private. It's a public link. I'm giving it to you right now. Mm-hmm. It's basically, I like to say it's like Twitter, wrestling Twitter without a lot of the toxicity.
Yeah.
Because it's like random like Nebraska fan chipping at me yesterday for taking a shot at Trev Alberts for sucking because he sucks.
Trev Alberts, you're an asshole.
Yeah, thank you. So and I get it's like, okay, Mr. 2 followers, Mr. all going after all the rest of me, and it's like people like Cry Me a River. I'm like, okay, fine. If you thought Bill Moose was bad, buckle up. But so when we can have a conversation like that without getting that noise, and it's also wrestling people didn't know what Discord was like a year ago, it seems, because I polled a bunch of people like, if you want a Facebook group, do you want Slack? And people are like, what's Slack and what's Discord? 0 people knew what Discord was. Like I think 120 people answered the poll. And, granted, out of, at the time, like 13,000 followers, which is not a very good percentage, but it's like, all right. And then I tried Discord here in the off season so we can build the community. So when we have something like this is, so picture this wrestling match, which I can't show, but imagine we're watching it and the camera's away from the TV. We're all drinking beers, talking about it, having fun. That's kind of the chat discussion. So that's kind of where the Discord comes in. So it kind of brings in the people you want to talk to, and kind of like, okay, we're over here. We don't need to deal with the millions of idiots on Twitter. We can spend time with our 90 idiots. So that's kind of where we're at. But that, as far as the Discord goes, and that's where the quoter is in the chat. And quoter's also been a contributor to the program. MatTalkOnline.com/contribute. The plugs here. Now I want to swing back before we get back to wrestling. You two guys.
Yeah.
Corby, your knowledge is quite good. From somebody that a lot of you seem to come out of nowhere. Josh, you've popped up here and there in the last couple of years. You weren't new to me. Yeah, right. You were. So let's get the origin story.
Okay. So
we'll get yours in a second.
I grew up outside of Chicago. Wrestled my whole life. And then after high school, just stayed involved in the sport. Just been a huge fan. Been around, known Willie for, God, a long time, 13, 14 years.
Mm-hmm. Run into it and beat ups at a tournament, probably.
Yeah. So we would always, and then, it's funny because we would always text back and forth and for years, right? And then when he was at Flow, and I know people as you, right? Mm-hmm. When you're around the sport for, like, I'm 47 years old. So, I graduated, high school 18 like everybody did. And then I stayed with the sport. I never went anywhere. So you build relationships, people. And I was just kind of, I'm not a media guy, have my own job. And then when Willie left Flow, actually, the day he left Flow, I was actually, it's funny, I was out at the Clarion Open. I'm like 5 hours from Clarion, November 2nd or 3rd, I believe it was, at 19. And I drive out to the Clarion Open, just going to check out for the...
Well, you'd since moved to Pennsylvania, so you're from Illinois.
Yeah, well, I live in New Jersey now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I live in New Jersey, and I'm about 5 hours from Clarion. So I drive out to Clarion for the Open, and maybe an hour or two before it was over.
That's dedication there to go to. I'm just gonna go to Clarion. I mean, I've randomly driven to Lockhaven before, but
yeah, just woke up on a Sunday at 4 a.m. It's a 5-hour ride, and I drove out, watched it.
You're definitely from the Midwest. If a 5-hour ride, it's nothing to you.
It's nothing. So watch it for the day, and then drove back home. And Willie actually quit that day. So he had said, "Hey, the next day, why don't come over?" So I went over to the house the next day, and he's like, let's record a show, which we did, but we didn't know at the time we really weren't supposed to be doing that. So it's probably on the archive somewhere. But so that was in November of 19, and then obviously, with the he had his lips sealed or whatever, he couldn't do anything.
Yeah, nobody knows anything about that at all.
So his lips were sealed there for a year, so we could just. We couldn't do any live content. It was just writing and stuff. And then he was waiting for that to end and said, "Hey, let's start doing some shows." I only live an hour from him. So, we, Jeanette and I, we work with autistic children.
Okay.
Have a business. So, it's easy for me to rearrange and work out my schedule. So, we shoot shows 2 days a week and then get on the road whenever we can get on the road. So really that's about it for me. Just a wrestling guy, always been around. I think this year was my 24th, or I think 97 was my first national. I think it might have been UNI.
Yeah.
I think 97 was UNI.
That was the one everybody was worried about when it was going to come to the football stadium here, because, it's going to be terrible. Well, that's...
So that was my first NCAAs. And then just, wrestling junkie like everybody else. So, like I said, I've known Willie for years, and once he, started his own thing, reached out, and now he bought Intermat, right? So now you got, 7 correspondents, right? The conference correspondents that are, Earl's running the ship.
Another Virginia guy. So there's the PA triumvirate, the Lehigh Valley, and then there's like the Virginia, like everybody else, because there's a ton of us.
There's a Virginia wrestling media mob.
And I think at every outlet, I mean, like it's like Foley and Olenowski are both from Virginia. Yeah. Piles is from Virginia. Me and Earl are from Virginia. Who else we're missing? Little Olenowski is little one. He's the fourth one. He's done some work with UWW and written some stuff. So who else are we missing here? I don't know. There's plenty of them.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Hazard. My co-announcer. So he's another Virginia guy. So
I like Hazard.
He's funny. Yeah.
What high school is
Robinson.
That's it.
Technically, it's a secondary school because it's 7 through 12.
Got it.
So it's not Robinson High.
Okay.
It's Robinson Secondary.
Okay. He has some
Hazard Tilt.
He has some solid kids, man. He
really does.
They had I can't think of the kid's name. He had a kid wrestled for JK Squad at the Ultimate Duels in PA. They came out, and one of his high school kids he coaches was on one of the teams, and I kept my eye on him. He's a pretty solid kid. I can't think of his name right now, and Hazard was there, and it was funny because was it Drake maybe? I don't know if it was Drake or Nate, but the kid wrestled somebody that was like best in the country,
right.
And Hazard's sitting there, and he's kind of chuckling, while his kid's getting, worked, and he said, hey, that's good, he needs to feel that, So, but the kid's talented. He was just doing a camp. I just saw, wasn't Hazard just at a camp recently?
Yeah, pretty sure I saw that somewhere.
Yeah,
might have been one of the FCA things, or
I think it was.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it was. Yeah, showing his Hazard Tilt.
Hazard Tilt, Fairfax roll, Mason Tilt.
That's it.
All right,
Josh,
you're wearing. You come in wearing a Port Jervis football helmet. Which, quick side note, Poquoson High School softball played Port Jervis in a softball game my junior year in high school.
Crazy.
Yeah. I didn't know that was even a thing. Yeah, but Port Jervis, home with Ed and Lou Bannock. Shout out.
Well, there's also another one too. There's more than just two Bannocks.
But I'm saying the Olympic gold medalists.
Those Olympic medalists. Yes, the Bannock brothers.
Yes.
Yeah, so good chops there. Now, not to say what is your origin story, but you've been popping up here and there over the years, and then how do you run into Willie? How do you run into Corby? How do you end up becoming the producer for the First Word?
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with doing events and stuff with Flow the last couple of years. I got on the first one. The first one I did was 2015 Eastern States because I live 30 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tournament in my section, in my area of New York, and so I was like, hey guys, I want to be here. You guys need some photos, so worked out like that, and then knowing Willie from doing different kind of events and stuff like that, we drove out to Akron 2019 when he was still with Flow, and so he hit me up back in December and was like, after the literally the next day after the lawsuit was finalized and done with, and he's like, hey, you want to come work for me? I said, fucking sure. Let's do it. Let's start.
So did you move? You get up move or
not yet? There in the fall because last year obviously wrestling season was very sporadic for a lot of things. So in the fall, November, October-ish, when season's back in full swing again, and we're hopefully doing shows 5 days a week. I should be moving out there. I live about an hour and a half away.
Okay, so it's a little bit of a commute twice a week. So you make it worth a while. We're gonna stay here for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys recorded for 5-6 hours the other day.
Yeah, we did.
And perhaps well, here's one thing that's interesting is how video is evolving. And I've been a written guy forever, and I remember Willie again back, crushing out those previews. And I'm like, dude, this is going to be outdated within 1 hour of the whistleblowing.
Yeah.
This is where the video, you get it all out.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're right or wrong, it doesn't matter because people are going to call you on it anyway. But okay, we're done. Now here to share the video clips, do the clips, and hit the social. If you don't want to sit there and do the writing, it's a great way to do it because I know I'm going to take my iPad out and do some quick interviews and stuff, and it's going to be quick and dirty for lack of a better term. But some of those videos, those previews are not quick and dirty. They're dirty, but they're not quick at all. So
no, the hour and a half, you're in there deep, right?
Per style,
per style.
Right before we started too, it was funny because we did the hour live show at 11:30 noon, and then we got done and we're like, at first Willie goes, no, these should only take a half hour each.
No way.
And he goes, and then we'll get food after. And then he goes upstairs to walk the dog. And I look at Corby. I was like,
plus it takes Willie 5 hours to order food anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
I look at Corby. I was like, I think we should order food now. Corby goes, yeah, this is gonna take us way longer than a half hour. And then
I mean, I haven't eaten lunch today because I was waiting for you guys getting the wiring done, trying to make sure we had no echo this time. I got the chat working. I feel your pain there.
Yeah, then hour and a half each. So 3 hours later. 6 o'clock, we each got there at 10 a.m. 6 o'clock p.m. we're ready to go home.
Yeah, it was funny. We got there at 10 and we started recording at noon, and from noon to 6 we did 5 hours.
Ugh.
So it was, but you get on there and you start talking about the weights and rolling, and it doesn't seem like you're on that long, and then it's over. And Josh's like, "Oh, that was an hour and a half." And I'm like, "Oh, geez."
Me and Richard did when he was still at USA Wrestling, we recorded one session. We did 3 episodes. So we did men's, women's, and Greco preview for the Worlds. I can't remember which year it was. And I mean, I'm sitting there and I got a couple. I start with the beer. By the time we finished up, I think we did Greco women freestyle in that order because I think we did it in the order it went. And I remember I was like, by the time we done, I was 9 beers deep because I did 3 per style, and we were on there for 4.5 hours, remotely. And I'm like, well, the last part of this show is going to be funny. So I mean, it's we tried to watch Drunk History last night. Stupid. So this is much better than that. So when you get drunk in wrestling history, that's what's fun. That's the Fargo stuff. So in terms of goals with what Willie's doing with MatScouts and kind of coming on, I mean, I'm on the Rockfin platform. I've been working on various things and just casting a wide net as an independent content creator. So now it's it's created an opportunity for more content, more people to be involved, not just with on the Rockfin side, but Intermat as well. Again with the correspondence, and it's very interesting how wrestling media has worked over the years. So where do you see this evolution coming, mainly from where you guys sit?
It's interesting. I know we had talked the other day, and Willie had brought it up on the show that he wants to do an event called Who's Next. So that'll probably be before the high school season starts.
Sanctioned by Bill Goldberg?
I'm not real sure, but yeah, we're gonna try. He wants to do an event, so and then hopefully from there, I don't know, the Rockfin platform. I mean, my opinion. I mean, I don't know why a Midlands wouldn't open a Midlands Rockfin channel and stream it on Rockfin. why the Southern Scuffle? Why Cliff Keen Vegas? Start your own channel. I don't know. I think maybe, that's maybe the way it's gonna go. I hope maybe some tournaments jump on board. Maybe a school or two decide to go on the platform, and then, it just the snowball starts going. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe in a couple years we're having a bunch of lives events. You never know.
It's interesting, yeah.
You never know.
And
that's where I hope it goes.
Because I've gone from working for the man, and when I say that, I mean like the NWCA and USA Wrestling, and I've also worked with the Open. I mean, basically, I've had more jobs in wrestling than Sammy Henson's kind of the joke.
You have.
Sometimes I say Wade Chalice, depending on how old the person is I'm talking to. So there's that joke. So I've kind of seen it from so many different ways, and it's just like you sit back and just like, man, this is like 2000. This is like 1997 all over again. The mat before it was owned by USA Wrestling, and Intermat before it was owned by the NWCA, before it was owned by Andrew Hips, before it was owned by Willie. We had independent, like Joe LaRue started the mat, and then you had Tom Owens started Intermat, and they're battling. Then here comes Jesse Krebs from the Wrestling Mall, which was owned by Jay Robinson.
Yep.
And then you had actually worked in that office too at one point with Wrestling 401. So you had this like these battles, and then the next generation, then we got the battles, and then you got the next generation. Now we're in the streaming wars essentially.
We are.
So
it's weird, right? You're almost like,
from a consumer perspective, yeah, okay, you got to, we're over the top, we're streaming, we're picking and choosing. I'm a cord cutter, but we got a lot more options than we did. So it's not like, all right, well, we're trying to watch something on dial-up. I mean, but we get, and trying to find the written result from Boise State, Portland State at 3 a.m. I remember typing those results in. So, like, from a consumer perspective, we really do, if you take yourself out of I work for this or I do that, you got content like crazy everywhere. I mean, Flow's got a ton of content. Before they bought Track, I mean, you had those two sites with the video wars with super mega content.
Yeah.
Then the independent sites, you're seeing Rockfin Channel of the State sites in. Illinois Matman's always been good. So, I mean, you've got, from a fan perspective, you've got a lot of options for good stuff. And just like, I guess, cable news, for lack of a better term, you've got what you can, okay, I'm going to care about Massachusetts. I'm going to care about Illinois. I'm going to go down to Southeast, like Jason Fulmore, who was in here, has got Southeast Wrestle. We got, North Carolina Matt's been around for a while. I mean, we have all these different state sites that are now kind of evolving with the tech, which is, again, from a content creator standpoint, really cool. And from a wrestling fan standpoint, super awesome to see.
It is. I mean, you got IA Wrestle too, right? I mean, they'll be out there, I mean, Iowa.
Except for Felters.
Yeah, Iowa's one of the, Iowa, PA, Minnesota, maybe Illinois, those are the 4 teams I think that could possibly win the junior title. So IA Wrestle will be out there. I think they do a really good job too.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, because we talk about, right, years ago you had, I mean, they didn't have that. Like, it
was the predicament in Iowa. It's the
it.
guillotine here, and the guillotine's done a pretty good job at evolving and moving to subscription models, and they still have the printed. I mean, I've got in the bathroom down here, I've got the printed guillotine.
Yeah.
6 times a year. $20 is a great value in wrestling. It's good writing, good news. I mean, Minnesota, like, you wanted to be in the guillotine. That was the thing.
That was it. Yeah.
It's like being in amateur wrestling news. I got 70 years of them over here, or however many years it is.
And in Illinois, Rob used to have
Illinois Best Weekly.
Cheryl, right?
Prep Wrestling Coast to Coast.
Yep. He'd get mailed to your house, man. I remember, I probably still got tons of them from the 80s and 90s, that they'd mail out. You'd look.
Imagine doing national rankings in that era. Because I did them with the internet, but I didn't have social. There was no I was on Facebook, but it wasn't a thing. I remember Zach Kemmerer committed to me through MySpace. Tyrell Fortune committed through MySpace. I mean, that was the extent. Now, I mean, no Twitter wasn't. I mean, Rob was hustling to get all this info. And even before him, he was doing stuff with amateur wrestling news before he broke out on his own. So
Rob. I mean, he was
it's like a trumpet player too.
OG, man. He was. That guy.
Well, it's funny about the Fargo. It's like, we talk about he goes in waves. It was the Matt and Intermat back in the 90s. Well, back in my early years of Fargo, when I started going, so 99, 2000, Pat Tossi, my old boss at the NWCA, would be like, look at the brain trust over there, and the brain trust it'd be Bob Prusy, Dan Fickle, and Rob Sherrill all walking with each other from mat to mat to mat.
Yeah.
And you see, and you know, Dan's hair hasn't changed in 30 years. He's got fluffed and feathered, and we'd say something. He's like, oh yeah, he's good. Let's go over here. Like, and you just see him in a pack, just moving and just talking. And the thing is, it's like they'd work with each other and things. I remember when I did the Intermat back before big board was the term for it, where our Intermat Top 200. Well, I'd say, hey, guys, let's come together on something, because nobody else was doing it. So we actually had a collective contribute to the big board back in the day. So, but yeah, seeing that brain trust. Rob hasn't been in a couple years. I see Dan's come every now and then, but again, they used to be there every year. And Bob even said, Ohio Bob P goes, that's a young man's game. So, I mean, I'm 41. This is my 22nd. So I don't know. I mean, I've had to now shorten it over the years, but it's, you know, again, the friendships and even the friendly rivalries. That's what it is, because I'll sit there with, you know, I remember sitting with Meredith when she was at the mat, and I was with Intermat. John Smith's looking at both of us going, wait, you're Intermat and you're the mat. Why are you guys together? Well, we're not together, but like
competition.
And Meredith, who's the webmaster and IT director at USA Wrestling, was like, we're friends. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, we're all friends. Some of us get on each other's nerves more than others, but for the most part, we're all friends. And, you know, you'll sit there and wonder, like for years where B-Dubs is like, weren't you and Willie arguing with each other like 2 days ago on Twitter? Didn't he block you on Twitter? I was like, yeah, but he does that. So it's like, it'll get over in a week, you know. But we'll be sitting there at B-Dubs, you know, eating wings and, you know, having beer. I'll be sitting there with like, back then it was like the whole table of flow guys, the interns, and, you know, it's like, why are you? Because we're wrestling people. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna talk wrestling. I mean, you know, the beefs don't last very long. Well,
no,
most of
they
them
don't.
Most of them don't.
No,
but,
you're right.
And most of them are petty anyway. It's like, okay, you forget about it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I wish. You know, I don't think we all have to. You know, not everybody has to get along and go out and have drinks together. But I wish at times.
Yes, we do. To come into Speakeasy. Well, see, once we're off, we'll have a drink.
Yeah.
No.
No, I wish at times though, like that. You know, and I tell Willie at times too. You know, the pot shots, you know, at Flow sometimes are warranted, right? In my opinion, sometimes they are.
I don't know. A pot shot, maybe creative or maybe some constructive criticism might be a way to term it, because you know, a lot of us got some mileage out of the New Jersey tweet the other day.
Yeah,
and you know what? Even I went at it. Yeah, a little bit. I was like, Alan Freed definitely is known for his freestyle. So
definitely.
I mean, poke some fun at it.
You can poke some fun at it sometimes, and the other day I did as well, a little bit. But I try to stay out of it. To me, we're a very small community. So, you know, to be tugging a war, you know what I mean? I know it's all competition and all, but, you know, and I know certain things. I mean, listen, if that shit happened to me, that happened to him, if a company, you know, did
we don't need to rehash it, but I think everybody's,
you know what I mean? Like,
I get it.
So I get it at times, but then again, I think, you know, sometimes you're going to have to let things go, right?
I mean, I've put out a dumb tweet all the time. Actually, since I've been married, I'm a lot less reactive. Like for me, it wasn't tweets back in the day, because I mean, it was message boards. Because I posted as my real name on the mat.com since whenever USA Wrestling bought it. So probably like 2000, 2001. I've always posted as my name, and sometimes I'll just I'll sit there and my wife will be like, she'll see me typing. She's like, "What are you doing?" And it's like that meme. Somebody on the internet is wrong.
Right.
Sometimes people do need to be put on blast. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you just like use the ignore feature.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I guess me not being, I mean, I've never had a MySpace. I've never had a Facebook. I just got a Twitter when we started doing the show maybe a couple months ago. So I guess maybe too, from me, like my side of things, I just don't understand it. I guess like the whole, I'm so late to the game that I guess I don't understand the whole where, to me, I guess Twitter's just a place where a bunch of smartasses like kind of wait for somebody to say something so they can pile on kind of thing. It's kind of like remember back in the day when you hung out with your friends, it was like there was one guy in the group that always gave everybody shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like that's Twitter. Yeah. You know, like you can't just, because not everybody, sees everybody. So it's like, we'll do it through here, and they just poke, shots at everybody. And it's funny and it's fun, but I guess
there's still a line where you have to, I mean, yeah, I think sometimes even I have to catch myself with it. Like, where do you make sure, okay, we use that term toxic.
Right.
Where do we stop poking fun? We just, okay, the vindictiveness is kind of starting to amp up a little bit. That's usually when you see me check out of one of those. That's kind of like I'm about to cross the line and say something I probably shouldn't say as a professional. So that's usually when you'll see me bail out of a conversation. It's called restraint. I've learned this as I got married. I hadn't had it forever. Like I said, I didn't become an adult till like I was 29. So I'm technically only been an adult for 12 years.
I try to stay out of a lot of these Twitter beefs because they're just exhausting. But my famous back out of it, my go-to is, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree. You have a nice night. And then I try to leave it like that. Some people don't want to end it like that. They go, well, yeah, but what? And then they just keep arguing back with me.
I've gotten to the point where I think it was that said Nebraska fan with 2 followers is like, agree to disagree. I'm like, no, because no matter what I can tell you about this situation, your opinion's not going to change. So stop wasting my time. I'm not going to, I'm not going to quote tweet you and give you the I don't want to say clout because I hate that term. But
attention.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to draw attention to 2 followers. Like, it's not like your followers matters, honestly, because people say, I mean, you are not your following. I mean, I'm not a TikTok guy. So some people that is what it is, but I don't look at it, and I've sometimes had to go back through and I'm like, you know what? That's probably not a good look. I'm not deleting them because I feel like I'm wrong.
Right.
I'm deleting them because it doesn't project what I want to be as a human being. Sometimes we all lose our shit sometimes. And
Definitely.
and the problem is with social media, it doesn't it used to be like at a bar with your friends, you forget about it. You're heated for about an hour or two. Then the next day you're hanging out again. Well, the stuff on the internet kind of stays. And it's just like, geez, you can't go anywhere. It's like Brock Haidt tweeted something the other day about a poll. Like, what do you do when you see somebody wrong on the internet? Do you A, reply and tell them they're an idiot? B, shake your head and think they're an idiot, or C, tweet to your friends about it? And I replied, screenshot it and talk to you. That's what you do. I mean, I don't know how many screenshots people guilty of things like, I might remember that.
It's the same caption every time. Look at this shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude. And 90% of the time, you'll send it. It's the same person you're quote tweeting. It's like, really? Or just like the facepalm emoji.
Yeah.
But anyway, off to better things, because Twitter drama is Austin early in the chat. We're too small to fight over dumb stuff.
That's where I'm coming from too as well. That's my thing. We're a small niche community. We're too to fight over stupid stuff.
We are niche, and as much as we want to be mainstream, we need to be on ESPN. Yeah, great. Well, Bags is on ESPN. They're paying for that, and you know what? We're a niche.
That's what we are, guys.
We it's great to have Power 5 programs, but we are still. I mean, we are a niche sport, and the riches are in the niches.
That's right.
Like one of the most popular podcasts is Dan Carlin's Hardcore History.
Yeah.
That does not really resonate with the entire, that doesn't have like the world appeal, but it gets millions of downloads when he puts one out every 6 months because it's a niche. It's a history niche, and he is good at what he does. Granted, it's a 5 hour.
Waiting for it.
And well, you'd be waiting to finish it too. It's like 5 hours long. That's why, Earl, when he started Sudden History, is like, you sound like Dan Carlin. You're the Dan Carlin of wrestling. He's like, what? But the thing is, again, it's like the riches are in the niches. So yeah, we're a niche, and there's a lot of market to be had. But
no, definitely.
Moving forward, back to Fargo.
Yeah. What's up?
So for the rookie here, what questions do you have? That I think anybody that's never been, they're wondering the same thing. I think John Kozak from Flow is also making his maiden voyage there.
John's a rookie.
So, and then me and Julia have the path. It's basically most nights you're going to end up. We're done. We're walking across the street to B-Dubs.
Yep.
Okay, we've had a couple beers there. We had our dinner, or we're going to go to Herd and Horns because that is also owned by wrestlers. 3 football players, 2 wrestlers own it. So it's been great street tacos, great burgers. I actually was there last year, so technically my streak is uninterrupted. Nephew got married in Fargo last year, outside of the dome, wearing my We Will Wrestle shirt again. We Will Wrestle again. I'll have to pack that. That's a good reminder. And then you go, and then you end up at the turf.
Yep.
You never started. People are like, I figured you'd be at the turf. No, you don't. You don't
Midnight.
Go to the turf before 11 p.m.
Right.
You just don't. That's just how it is. And there's Bags out there. I know they got a new. Once the place burned down, which was a very tough day in my life. They've got an outdoor patio on the second level now, so it's there's some outdoor space. And
what's the little one to the right? you come out to the right, the little bar. B-Dubs is here. It's over here in the strip mall.
Labby's.
That's it. There's the mug.
There's the mug.
Labby's. Yeah, Labby's a good spot.
Yeah. It used to be called Reeves, which was beer spelled backwards.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Zach Sanders' brother Eric, who wrestled at North Dakota State, used to live about a block from the turf. He brewed his own beer.
Ooh.
So we would leave the turf afterwards, be like, we're drinking Eric Sanders. I think he just called it Sanders Brow. And now he lives down in Pine Island, south of here. So every time I go down to Rochester, at least I try to stop in and be like, give me a growler. A couple of these growlers need to get filled with some Sanders Brow. But yeah.
Nice.
By the way, too, this is Drecker. These guys are out of Fargo. So if you're like the craft beer, I'd go there. As is Junkyard, which is across the river in Moorhead.
Yeah, in Moorhead.
That's what that one is right there. So, yeah, if you're interested in beverages, there's plenty of good places to be had in Fargo, too.
Without
so
a doubt.
B-Dubs, Herd Horns, Turf is kind of your path. Sometimes you'll go to Labby's.
Yep.
And then if you want to go to Bucks, is kind of a roadhouse. It used to be a thing back in the day. I used to actually stay at a hotel across the street so I could walk to Bucks years ago. And then I was like, yeah, I remember first time I was there, Mike Newbern, who wrestled at Lehigh back in the day, was on our coaching staff, and he was in his van. He took the Team Virginia van, and he bumped a pickup truck in a country bar. I'm like, do you have a death wish? We're fine. We're fine. But, yeah, so a lot of things have changed. I think the Hooters has been 3 different locations, if it's even still there anymore.
I don't know if it is.
I know that I learned how to play blackjack at Bucks because they had dollar blackjack tables.
Yep.
Nice.
Everything I learned in blackjack was from Lee Pritz.
The degenerate gambler in me just perked up when you said that.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I think it's like a $25 max.
I mean, there's little hotel, like there's like little restaurants or bars you can go into, Josh,
Earl
that
was
have
staying at one.
Yeah.
like you can play.
Yeah, is Earl alive?
I think
Is he still alive? Earl, are you out there?
He's at the Fargo Inn and Suites, I believe.
It's the Fargo Inn and Suites, brought to you by.
Yeah, they have blackjack and I think they have like the
pull tabs.
Yes. Pull tabs. And
I am not a
blackjack.
pull tabs
Me
guy.
neither.
I just think it's just too random. I mean, it's a lottery ticket. That's what it is.
It is.
I think I won $280 on one time.
I wonder, is the Vista still around?
Did
that get condemned?
I don't know, because okay, so let's go back in time. Here was the path back in the day. There was no B-Dubs the first time I went there. They built it the second year. So it was Buffalo Wild Wings and then Turf. There was no Herd and Horns.
Nope.
And then it was Reeves. It wasn't Labby's. And there was Bucks. And then Playmakers, which became the Hub, which became something else.
Everything,
Yeah, it was like a kind of a casino. And other spots, Chubb's package stop right down from the Turf.
Yep.
Chubb's Pub. And then there was a place that author Chuck Klosterman liked. What was it called? I've got it. It's in a book, and it's a certain way you got to go in. Duffy's. That's another spot where you have to. The doors are locked alternately, so you go into the right, and then you have to go to the other one on the left. Else they know you're not a local.
Gotcha.
So when the first time I went into that place, I'm like, Chuck said right and then left, or was it left and then right? And they know who you are coming in. So
That's awesome.
Duffy's was a good spot, and then the Green Mill was a chain restaurant out here. They've since closed, but there's actually one right here in Minneapolis. If you're on the way in, Scott Green, you should be he should be driving right through about now.
I've been
the slowest bus ride, by the way.
By the way, the
because
bus is probably outside, right?
Yeah.
He posted about leaving on the bus at like 3 p.m, and then it felt like at like midnight. He's like,
Well,
"Yeah, driving through Ohio."
They were on a 22-hour trek. So I guess he got on one of the good buses, the buses that was like running smooth and like the driver, exchange went good. But I guess a couple of the other PA buses didn't have such good luck.
Yeah,
I guess
all I
they're
know is
kind of
it felt like
behind him a little bit. So I think he's on the bus that's out in the head of the lead right now.
Yeah, it felt like he was. I think, like I said, I'm pretty sure he tweeted at like 3, getting on the bus, and then at like midnight, he's like, "I'm just going through Ohio." And it's like, that doesn't seem like
And
a
I
good
seen
timeline.
Pat tweeted out to him something about his boys were on the other bus and they were behind him. So I think Green got on the right bus. So his bus has been cruising pretty good. I think they had the driver change, and they should be. I mean, I'm surprised they're not. They should probably be through here by now.
Yeah, Joe Caprino suggests go visit the world's largest ball of twine in Darwin, Minnesota.
In Darwin, yeah.
Half hour straight due west. By the way, somebody apparently is trying to log into my fantasy baseball team. So no, I'm not trying to sign in from Phoenix, Arizona on a Windows machine. That's a no. This is where I love two-factor. I mean, who wants to take who would buy a last place hockey team? Who would sign up for the semi-athletic 10th out of 10 in my league?
Yeah, right. Who are they trying to hack your
God.
team, right?
Please hack my team.
That's like Willie in the
You can fix
fantasy
it.
wrestling league. I think last year he was last. I'm getting on him this year. I'm going to GM his team for him.
We had one with the wrestling talk back in the day. Pour one out for Jacob Schlocke. He was the man back in the day. We had Shane Jensen, Schlocke, myself, Nick Frost, Nate, basically like my Nationals running buddies. We were on a league, and I think Joe was in that league.
Yeah.
And a couple people that are no longer with us. Let me hit. This is a comment off the page. There we go. And I would sit there and be like, no, I'm not going to pick the power. I'm going to pick guys that make me think I know more wrestling about you. And they never paid off. Damn you, Mitchell Polkowski. I had him on my I had him on my team pre-Mormon Mission and post-Mormon Mission.
Never paid off.
No, he led the nation. He was pretty high in the nation of wins one year when he was at Northern Colorado, right as they transferred into D1. But yeah, I always remember Polkowski was always on my team just because. And I knew how to say his name. So I had a brother that wrestled at Utah Valley and I believe took down Tion Ware at the Lone Star Duels one year because Tion was down 2-1. We're like, what? Then he teched him. Memories. He's very good.
Tion was really good, wasn't he? That's the one that
saw Todd Manili beat him in Fargo. It's one of those things like Tion Ware. Todd Manili, OW, beats Tion Ware in Fargo.
Yeah.
Mark Jane getting launched by Justin, Deshaun, Harry Lester in 49 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, just.
Yeah, Harry Lester.
I think Mac Lunas took one off the race podium one year. And it was just, there's some
crazy Fargo stories. I just love the old, I just like the old bracketing system. I just love the. I just love the vertical. I
mean, one year I think JD Bergman got beat in the first round. I think it was by Tyrell Todd.
Okay.
And first of all, why are they wrestling in the first round? But
guys,
think of Todd. That's again really early internet. Like nobody knew who this guy is from Montana.
No.
And he goes out, and then eventually I think Patrick Bond might have knocked.
Yep.
No, because Bergman and Bond met in the finals that year. But it was something where it was like round 9, Todd gets knocked off and gets a second loss, so he finishes like 4th in the pool, and then JD's got a fresh chance to make the final. I mean, those things are great, but then you run into the Parker Von Eggeties of the world who finished second with 3 losses. And Dominic Abinator is third with 1. I always suggested that USA Wrestling needed
all you
to
had to do was say that.
Yeah, no, that.
No.
Well, the problem is the classification point.
Points.
Well, when they went to the period system, they kept it with a point instead of. I always said should have been a period.
Yes.
Get you a point. Because why is 7-1, 7-0 the same
as
3-2, 4-3, 4-1?
And it was right.
Yeah. So yeah, you
so
could
your classification point, and then pins were 5, techs were 4, a win was 3, and then at the end when you got to the end, you point them all
and
up.
you hit in round 8 and you hit the bye,
Yep.
and you next thing you know you got 1 loss. You're going for 5th.
Yep.
It's like what?
Yeah.
It
was wild.
It was awesome though, where you'd see like the pools. I think one year, I know they were in the same weight because I talked about Pedro Soto from Puerto Rico yesterday in my Puerto Rico Fargo legacy.
Yeah.
Is that there was Josh Chirella.
Yep.
Alex Surtsis, Daniel Frischkorn.
Wow. I remember him. He was
Schlater. They're all in the same weight. And I think half of them, they were in the same pool. And it was like that Saturday morning All-American round was like, you're seeing national finals matches that are just a go. It's not a true semi, but it's like, I got to wrestle Chirella and Frischkorn?
Right.
Or Surtsis. What?
Yeah. That's why I love it.
That's the one thing I loved about it. But in the same point, marketing.
Yeah.
Who's going to show up for round robin 7?
I agree.
Just so we have a blood round. We know we're going to place.
Yeah,
we know
semi.
we have something we can draw. So that's one thing that I. But again, what other sport can you lose lose in a tournament? And I mean, it's an advancement tournament, right? Like you can lose and still win. Like
it's wild.
It's the only. I mean, it used to be the thing, and then now it's not. So
yeah, it was wild. I just liked it because
you got to see the matches you wanted to see if they were on the same side.
Yes, more than likely all the hammers were to end up meeting.
But again, with wrestling, what happens if you usually lose your first round match? You're going to wrestle somebody else that lost their first round match. There are 2 cases that get brought up by me every year. One especially. Well, the first one that I thought was the worst draw of all time was kid from my high school, Joey Massey, state runner-up, wrestled 171 juniors. Okay. Goes out there. He's a decent kid. He could probably win a match or 2. I mean, on a good day, he's probably listening right now, going, "Dude, you're selling me short." No. has done some coaching. Mr. Amazing, Chris Christian knows who he is. So he draws, I'm trying to think, he draws Chris Perry and Mike Benefiel back to back.
Wow.
One's ranked number 1 at 171. The other's ranked number 1 at 160.
Yeah.
That's in the pool, the same side. Like, if you could draw Benefiel, you should at least have to wrestle a guy that had to wrestle Perry.
Right.
He had to wrestle Perry. Thanks for
See you
coming out.
later. Yeah.
But the ultimate was Junior Greco, 2012. Brett Haas from the great state of Iowa draws Jaden Cox and Kyle Snyder back to back.
I remember it.
He gets mentioned every year. Sorry, Brett. We got to do it
Guys,
again.
sorry, but yeah.
At a Dubuque Hempstead,
Yeah.
you know.
Jaden Cox.
And he had actually beaten guys that placed that year in Fargo. And it's
He
like,
could have
And that's
placed.
another one.
yeah, Brett was good. He would have. I mean, the guy finished 7th. I remember him complaining. He was like, I beat that guy.
Yeah, no, he was really
And
good.
that's another one. You got Kyle Snyder, Jane Cox in the same pool.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, well, one year my high school teammate, a guy named Mike Akers, was a
Oh, yeah.
4-time state champ. He was second in cadets the year before, losing to Cliff Moore in the finals. First round, the next year on Mat 1, this is the year before I went, wrestles TJ Hill. Junior champ versus cadet runner-up.
First round.
Mat 1. No, Mat 1, first match of the tournament. Akers finished 3rd. Which, by the way, I actually looked this up. TJ Hill, interestingly enough, we know we've got one 4-time junior freestyle champ, Alan Freed. We have one 4-time Greco champ, Oscar Wood. TJ Hill was going to try to become the 4th in both styles in the same year and lost in the finals both years.
Ooh,
That sucks.
I didn't know that. Who beat him, remember?
Roberson beat him in freestyle, and I had it on the top. It's in the almanac,
Okay.
but I could actually let me pull the Corby and look this up real quick.
That's all right. Look it up.
Yeah,
We can
it
do
was
that.
it was because it's in there.
Look it up.
Let's see. So because I've got all this stuff at my disposal.
Yeah, because he was he won 3. Yeah, you're right. He won 3 in each.
Because he made 10 finals.
That's crazy. What was Ridge in? Was Ridge in 8?
That's in the FargoAlmanac.com. It's in there. He placed 10 times.
Yeah.
There's only 20 guys to place 10. There's 3 guys to place 11. So
yeah, Ridge did. Yeah, I remember it was.
if I have to log into my site right now, I'm not going to be happy with my computer. Yep, got to log in. Hold on.
But yeah, Ridge actually Ridge put out a funny tweet yesterday about Trev Albert.
Hashtag Trev sucks.
Yes, hashtag Trev does suck. That's interesting too that I haven't dug into that at all. I don't know if you have. Do you know who the other who he got the job over? Do we know any other
I
candidates?
understand that there were 2 people that turned it down based on I'm in another
Okay.
Discord with some
Okay.
sports writers, and
Uh-huh.
the word is that 2 other people turned it down. So, and I countered with, in what world does a Division II athletic director with no previous administration experience that dropped football get to even get an interview at a
Big
Power 5 Big 10 school?
at Nebraska?
Yeah, how many D2 ADs from non-football schools are like, I got a shot to go to the Big 10? No, you don't.
Right.
Not now.
Right.
You maybe if you've worked at schools with football previously or D1, but
I'd like to know the guys that turn it down and what jobs they have now. Like to turn down a Big 10 Nebraska athletic.
sometimes you got to wonder who the heck is hiring these people.
Yeah.
And what
Heck, should
they're
have just gave it to Mark Manning, right?
the Mangler.
You give it to Manning. I mean,
I feel like
I would've-
every
I mean-
sport outside of wrestling has not been great there. So
yeah. I mean, I can see that. I mean, to me though, I would have tried. I don't know. Trev Alberts. There's just got to be There's got to be better guys out there than I don't know how. Did he play football there?
Yeah.
I thought so. That's
The whole Mel Kiper.
Yes.
Who the hell is Mel
Mel
Kiper?
Kiper, yep.
Yeah, the Bill Polian thing.
Yes.
When they drafted Trev.
They drafted
Let's see.
Trev.
Okay, so we're looking for
Yeah.
who
So
beat TJ Hill and Greco. That's what we're looking for.
yeah,
right now.
who beat T.J. Hill and Greco? What year would that?
That would have been 98 because it was
So-
the year because Zach Roberson beat him in freestyle.
Okay, I'm trying to think who. I won't be able to pull that one out of my head. There's no way. 98.
no, as
Draco
you
out.
were asking what if I had any questions. I don't really have any questions really. It's just I know that the most amount of days I've ever shot in a row photos is 3. This will be 5 tomorrow, and then the 4 days in a row with Fargo, with cadet and junior. And I'm afraid my my left eye will be shut by the end of it. After taking so many. Just a lot of just is gone by the end of the 5 days.
All right. Here's a name nobody's going to pull out.
Who is it?
Brady Jones, Utah.
No.
Might have been one of Yvonne's kids. because that was an era where Yvonne was coming. You know, all those Yvonne's Greco kids out of
Yeah.
Utah.
For sure.
Wow, Brady Jones, because it was definitely Roberson, because it was Roberson, Hill, Akers at juniors, because Akers and Victor Jackson, his teammate. Victor and I never went to high school at the same time, although Victor went to my high school, went to my church, so him and Akers are, you know,
Buddies,
club teammates, PWA, shout out 757, Nick Frost, etc., Joe Wright, Matt Wright, my old 12 house roommates. It was like, because, you know, again, you lose one more time, you're done. And Akers is third. Like, to imagine losing the Beast the first round, you come back, take third. That's rough. Fargo, every match is an elimination match against a hammer.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you might get on the backside of a tournament, you might get another scrub.
Right.
I mean, you know, guy gets upset, you might have, 2 matches really that are really hammers to get to that placement round.
Mm-hmm.
Fargo, everything is, you don't know who you're going to get. Everybody's state champs.
And then, like you said, they were like, okay, well, you
Brady
know,
Jones.
you lost, so like you said, you like, it didn't matter. You could like lose your first one, then if you won your second one, no matter what, your third match was a hammer. You know what I mean? You were going to get a 2-0 guy because they're trying to eliminate the 1-and-1s.
All right, so Brady Jones was a 4-time Greco. Well,
that makes sense.
Hold on, that's just Greco. Let's pull out the entire Brady Jones arsenal. Looks like he's 6-time All-American from 95 to 98.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Twice in freestyle. So 95 goes 7th and 3rd at cadets. 16. Also, being a stickler for semantics, I have to write 16U in all my stuff just because that's the name of it now.
No. I hate that.
I hate it, but I don't make the rules. Freestyle, let's see, 2 times he won it as a cadet in 96, and then 97 was 4th in junior Greco, and then won it in 98. So I remember Cam Jones coming through, and everybody was like, Cam Jones, Harry Lester, Cam Jones, Cam Jones, Cam Jones.
Yeah.
Cam was good, but we didn't see a whole lot of Cam at the senior level. They wrestled at Boise State, but I mean, I remember again, another Fargo legend, like guys like that. I mean, I remember looking through a name the other day from Wyoming, Sterling Oglesby. You know, it's like I had his name misspelled once in the guide. I'm like, oh, 4-time placer, things like that. You're finding it's just like, I remember Sterling Oglesby wrestling. I remember Hayden Zilmer at 83.5, and just
Oh yeah.
Oh, we get back to like what you're going to remember things from this tournament.
Yeah.
And you're going to be talking about 20 years from now,
Yeah, when
because
you're our
something's going to happen that you can be like, no freaking way. Like, no, Brett Criswell just got pinned. Who?
Yeah.
What? Like, you know, guys.
Or the matchups.
Yeah.
There's so many good guys here that don't have seating.
What I miss
criteria.
though is starting with Greco, because you get that was basically your pace car. Cadet Greco is your pace car. Okay, who am I watching now?
Yes.
Oh, the Greco champ just got beat.
Yep.
All right, so who's that kid?
Yep.
Then who's that kid
You
now?
chase him, yep.
But with one side of it, the freestyler guys, they're fresh. So, you know, I'm waffling on what I like because I hate leaving for Greco, but it's an Olympic year. So
I know. I do too.
But I get to watch. Look, I mean, think about this is where I get to watch the rest of it.
Oh, so you're just coming home to
Look at those. Look at those.
Yeah,
Okay, so
you're gonna be fine.
I don't know if I can. I could probably do the swap screen over there. I don't really feel like changing up my views right now because it might screw up the recording. But anyway, so that's what we got. Also thank Jonathan Regine. I'm gonna say, of course, I'm good at names. That name, I'm not sure. Thanks for the tip. Appreciate it. So where are we at over on the other stuff? I think we're good on that end. So no more looking up stuff. But
Okay, good.
here's one thing I realized that this speakeasy needs:
What?
a fan.
You think? It's not too bad.
I mean, I got the lights on. That's probably why. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see if that adds any heat. Let's check the. Yeah, it's a little darker. I probably didn't need those. You don't even notice that at home, but
No.
yeah, sound dampening. This is what I was talking about with Willie. All the stuff on the walls actually deflects the sound.
Yeah,
So,
it's awesome. It's great. Yeah, I think that's what we. I think at Willie's we need to get some more stuff on the walls. Don't you think?
I want more Mongolian dudes getting grabbed.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
That's just off to the side now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is the canvases.
Love them.
They're sound dampening. So like
Love
you can actually put stuff behind them. So like you can't see on screen here. I got the World Championships photo, which I'm in, so that's why it's on there. But that's there, and then the Mat Talk. I got some of the 2x2s like just off screen again. Bad podcasting, you can't see it, but that's where those things are. Hollow, and they'll deflect sound. So
Yeah.
those are
was
things.
really
Willie was starting the studio. I was like, dude, you have to let me go look at what you're doing. Now, granted, the tripods. I mean, not tripods. The boom arms he's got right now are good.
Yeah.
Because those things are sweet. I know he's got the SM7B like I got over there, but it's just like I've got 15 microphones that I got to use, so I can't buy new ones.
Yeah.
I've got
Dude,
ones that work.
We just bought 2 more, didn't we?
Yeah, we just bought because as you notice, they have the swing. They have the swing mic around me every time one for me and one for if we have a guest.
Yeah.
we had
The Corey Haddad comes over once in a while and stuff. So it's like sometimes Corey and Josh like say things in the background and it like
you can't hear it.
Yeah,
you're like,
it's terrible. Yeah, and we're like, stop.
It's Hancock now.
Yeah. So we're gonna get 2 mics for them or a guest or when somebody comes. That way it's
off screen. It's me going. Just get it.
Yeah.
One second.
Yeah. He tries to tell us swing it around.
I mean, don't you have the switcher, right? You can,
Yeah, my face will come on screen. That's it.
Yeah. But you know what was really interesting about coming to the Speakeasy, guys, is it's a real speakeasy. You come down in the basement, and off to the right there's like a bookcase, and then off to the left is another bookcase, and they look like they're right there bookcases, and the one you push, and he opens it up, and it comes right into the Speakeasy, and you walk in, you see a really nice old fridge there full of beer.
I think you just broke the number 1 rule of the Speakeasy, which is explaining how secretive
get into
it is.
Speakeasy.
well, I mean, they got it. I mean, then all they know is they know I live in New Brighton.
That's it.
I mean,
they know the weather.
Yeah, the weather, and they know. I mean, they could probably triangulate positions based on heat coming out of this basement right now. But again, got the dartboard up here. I got some PA brewing. I got stouts right behind the TV here. That just went out of business, I believe.
Good
of
thing
course,
is I don't think you have any Russian hackers trying to get at you.
No. Got the lager, got my Minnesota breweries here, my Buccaneers championship stuff. I'm a diehard Angels fan. That's the hat right here.
Put the Blood Round hat up there.
Got the Blood Round hat. Got the Rio shoes.
I like the Rio shoes.
Got look at this thing from high school. This thing I found. It's the Pocosin Bulls. The girls' basketball team made this for me my sophomore year, and I still have it.
That's awesome.
I did the stats and announced the home game. So when I was 15. So
that's great.
Yep. I also got got a Justin Bash special up here with the Coffee Talk mug, which haven't actually put any coffee in it yet, but various things and sundries from around the world. So it's it's the perfect place to watch wrestling.
This is the perfect place to watch. You're going to be at the Olympics, so you won't be able to watch them from here. This would be a cool place to watch the Olympics too. And watch any wrestling in here.
Yeah, because I usually I'll have a screen up here, and then I'll have one on the laptop where we're at right here, and then I'll have 2 over there.
2 over there, so you can have.
So 4. A multi-mat event. I think Flow allows you that many logins on one IP address, so it's good. So
and then you can split them. That's what I'll do sometimes. So you get 8 mats on your 4 screens if you have to.
Sometimes though I can't. I have them up, but I don't know. It is what it is. So that's what we got. So so the plan now, as we're coming up on 4:00, I'm gonna let these guys take a little rest. We're gonna grill out some burgers, and we're gonna see a lot from Josh and Corby and Earl and the crew, with the MatScout Intermat family of Willie stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. I don't know. It's whatever. Well, Willie's not going to be, so we'll be able to take as many shots at Willie the entire week, and he'll just sit in there tweet it at us 12 hours later from Budapest. So
exactly,
Willie, you've been welcome here before. Now you got people that are here before you.
Yeah,
Earl was supposed to be here today.
He was mad about that. He's like, you guys are going to the Speakeasy before me. I said, yes, we are.
Yeah, so we got plenty more things to check around right now. We're going to shut it down. So final words. Start with you.
Thanks for having us. I appreciate it. You reached out and invited us over on the way through. Thank you very much. I appreciate your hospitality, and that's what wrestling families are for, right?
Yeah, wait till the burgers.
Yeah, thanks.
On that Traeger.
Like Corby said, thanks for having us. Everyone buy the Fargo Almanac. And, like he said, check out our content this weekend on MatScouts.
There you go. All right, guys. Thanks.